Hi everyone, this is Biba and Eugenie from American Woman à la Francaise, and today we are very happy to have our guest online, which is Allegra Cramb. And hello Eugenie and hello Allegra, how are you?
Hi, welcome Allegra.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Allegra. I hope I say your name correctly.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. So we wanted to have you in person today because as our people who listen to this audio know that our website, American Woman à la Francaise, is really to help American women who move to France, who live over there, or actually eventually to plan to move over there, and to see exactly how it works in France, because we know that there's a culture difference, there's a different language, and a lot of things are different. So we wanted to have your experience, and if you could tell us a little bit, first of all, what the reason why you decided to live in France. Is it because a choice, because maybe your husband moved over there, or how did you make the decision?
Yes, well, in my case, it was quite straightforward for me because I did become engaged to a Frenchman, and I lived in the U.S. in Washington, D.C. He lived in the Paris area, and we discussed where to live, and, we had to decide one or the other country, and I had been working for a French company for quite a while, so, and he did not express any desire to live in the U.S. immediately. So I decided that since I already knew France, and I had actually lived in France in high school for 2 years, that I wouldn't mind at all moving back to France, basically. So in my case, it was not totally new.
Okay. So and it's mainly the romance who brought you to France at first. It's that
was my case too. Like
yeah, that's the same for you with you, Eugenie. So
yes,
that's the charm of the Frenchman.
In my case.
Yeah, it's really is there really a charm of Frenchmen really for you to move, for both of you to move to France?
Oh, I think it was more of an individual thing.
Okay, and then definitely the fact that you have experience in France before, does that help you to make the decision to move over there, or were you kind of afraid, or you just made the decision? I said, no, I know I lived there before, I know I like it, and I can go over there.
Yes, I didn't really hesitate much in my case because it was not a brand new country to me. Even though I had never lived in France as an adult, of course it's different, but I didn't hesitate too much, to be honest, because I had been on business travel to France frequently also. So I had business dealings with France for quite a while, so I didn't really hesitate.
So you
okay, good. And that's not, that definitely makes it a lot easier when you are familiar with the place. It takes out some of the intimidation factor, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't have that as a factor in my case.
Yeah, so actually you don't have like the culture shock or something. Yeah,
no. Well, I didn't think there would be, but there always is a little bit, because I was leaving my country still, and things are different, as you said. So no, there's still a little bit.
And Allegra, when you first moved there, what were some of the biggest challenges that you can remember facing when you arrived?
I would say the customer service. I would say that was really difficult for me, that people in customer service jobs were really not friendly, and maybe this is regional to Paris, I don't know, because I do know the South a little bit, and it's better, but it was a shock to me to discover the lack of friendliness in customer service. That was a big one.
Interesting. And how have you been able to sort of or are you used to it, or have you adapted, or what tips or tricks did you learn that you could maybe help our listeners with by passing on?
Well, I think that since I grew up in the U.S. and spent all my childhood there pretty much, I mean, you always carry with you this sort of American friendliness, more openness. So I don't really get over it. But you just adjust your expectations, I would say. And that's probably the best advice, is to just don't expect people to automatically be helpful. Unfortunately, I can say that. Yeah.
No, but that's a great, and that was really well said. Just adjust your expectations. I think that is wonderful, just in general, I think.
And since how long you live in France now?
Well, it's a little bit complicated because we also went to live in the Middle East in between. So we've been back and forth. It's been since 2006 I left the U.S.
Okay.
Okay. So on and off in that same region since 2006?
Yes, on and off, yes.
Okay.
And you live in the suburb of Paris, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, Biba, go ahead.
Yeah. You live in the suburb of Paris, Allegra?
Yes, south of about the half an hour train ride to the city center.
Mm-hmm. So do you think it helped the fact that living in a big city, or at least close to Paris, that maybe compared to living in another, like in the country or something like that, or living in a small town, did you find it helping that it was like a big city, or you have access to a lot of things?
I have been used to that because I have been living in big cities pretty much since I've been an adult. So I did expect certain conveniences, and I have not had the experience of living in a rural environment, so I can't really compare. But I do like this is one of the things I like the most about France is and in city life in France. There's also town life, village life. There's the small businesses, your local boulangerie, and it's just, I don't know how I would live without that now, actually.
Oh, yes. I definitely, I agree with that. It has so much more charm, and I don't know, it seems like it's a great place to socialize and to sort of, feel like you're part of the community, and also knowing that you're supporting local businesses. I agree with you on that, definitely, Allegra.
Yes, exactly, and especially if you're new, and it can be difficult if you don't know that much of the language. It's a great place to, it's a great way to practice and just to get out there. If you're shy about, as like a first step, that would probably be a good way to start. Just go and look up some words first and try to use them in the food vocabulary. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good idea.
It makes you sort of feel like you're part of, like you can become part of the community somehow, so you don't feel totally alone when you arrive.
Yes, I do feel that helped me a lot in my local area to feel implanted here, so to speak.
And you actually, since you're in France, you started your own business. So was it a choice for you did you have a business already in the U.S., or did you start your own business in France because you find it was kind of too difficult to find a job?
Well, no, this is the first time I've had my own business, and it was due to personal circumstances and having, wanting to get back into the work world my own way, having been out of it for a while, and so I hadn't done that in the U.S., but no, it's something that's still very new for me, so I'm still learning a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. So you're a writer and a translator, right?
Yes, I'm working mostly for international trade exhibitions in the fashion field for the moment. And because that is my background, and I used to work in marketing in that area.
Mm-hmm. So what was the biggest challenge?
That sounds fun.
Sorry, Eugenie. What was your biggest challenge to start your business in France? Is it like paperwork, or do you think that it's easier than in the U.S.? Or?
It's hard for me to say because I have actually not owned a business in the U.S., but I would imagine that it would be the tax and the tax burdens are significant here, and also there's bureaucracy everywhere, but it's more the tax and the social charges, as they call them. I'm sorry, my English is rusty now. That are quite significant here. Paying for the health care, and all of that. Of course, you do have coverage here. Whereas in the U.S., I probably wouldn't be able to afford any health insurance at all in my situation, with my business. So at least I have that here, but it is quite expensive.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's like the pros and the cons, right? Sort of, even though there are more taxes here, you feel like you're more covered with medical expenses and stuff. So it's, yeah.
Yes, well, I don't worry, especially since I have a young son. It's good to, to have that. You need to have that. And like I said, in the U.S., it would really be more of a stress on me, I think, because I probably wouldn't be able to afford health care. So that is a good thing, but it's important to know that it does. If you're an entrepreneur, it is a heavy cost in your business.
Yeah, and then I'm curious, Allegra, do you do most of your business? Does a lot of it come, like your traffic and stuff? Is that from online or through networking in person, or how does that work for you?
It's mostly been through it's mostly been through networking for the time being, and I want to expand that. But for the moment, it has been mostly through my own networking and contacts in the fashion field and design, because those are the fields that I'm greatly involved in.
Okay. And your clients are mainly American, or do you work also with a lot of French people in the business?
Right now, my clients are French, but I am working in French and in English for them, writing in both French and in English. And I'm hoping to work for some U.S. publications soon. I am in discussions for that.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. And just based on your experience in business, in life in general in France, what advice and tips do you think you could offer to women who are either planning on moving to France, who have just arrived and are sort of feeling uncomfortable or uneasy? Just some quick little things that could maybe help them along that you could offer, Allegra?
I would say that I know it's not that easy, because I also remember my mother when I was in high school and our family moved to France, and she was in that situation, so she found it challenging not speaking the language. I would say get out there and start using French as quickly as you can, even if it's not good French or whatever. Like I said, just go to local businesses, patronize local businesses, or if you have a young child, go to the playground. And then there are expat groups. That's always a good way. I mean, there are a lot of resources online. There are mothers groups, and there are French American groups. I know in particularly active in Paris. I'm not sure outside of Paris, but I would say just get out there, even to even if you're just speaking a few words, at least it'll help you to start feeling a part of your community.
Exactly. And it also shows the community that you really do want to be part of it. I think that makes a huge difference, too, of being accepted when they see the effort that you're making and, you know, the involvement that you're trying to have and so forth.
Yes, and don't worry if people speak back to you in English. Don't get annoyed, because that will happen.
Yes.
And just keep trying. Just keep going.
Just keep doing.
Okay. Great advice. Thank you.
And what are some of your favorite things that you do living in France? So what are the things that, for example, you do in France that you were not doing in the U.S. or something like that? What's the difference into, you know, when you do leisure or something?
Well, for me, it's cultural. I mean, of course, there are great, wonderful museums in the U.S. as well, but there's so many resources have been put into culture in general in France that there is so much out there, museums, and even on a local community level, each mairie, each town, they organize so many events. It's a great opportunity also to get out there in the community. And then I would say through food, because that's something that I've learned to appreciate much more since living in France. Quality of food and origin of food and exploring all of that. That's very fun in itself. That can be a whole hobby. There are many aspects to that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Wine, right? That's just one, but that's an exciting one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's asking about the origin of things, even just getting into any kind of short conversation, you know, food-related people. That's a real good icebreaker, I think.
Absolutely. And even I think there's just so many, each region has its own sort of, you know, fare and its own traditional cuisine. So that's a great way to even learn about different areas that you go to visit and to really connect with the people. That's great.
And it's something that you can always talk about. Somebody will talk about it.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And do you have the feeling that, as everybody say, that the French people spend more time, you know, to really appreciate life more than working compared to the U.S., where everything is business, but the French people takes more time really to, you know, in a lifestyle or something like that, in vacation, or really appreciate life more. Do you feel that?
Well, I think I'm already converted to that because it feels like it's already happened. It's maybe my personality, but yes, people, I think that's true. I mean, it may be a stereotype, but I really think it is true. Although I think since our recent recession, people in the U.S. have reoriented, you know, have been starting to reorient their priorities and everything towards quality of life, family life, etc. But I think in France, that was already the case. I mean, it's absolutely true. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Okay, wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Allegra? You've given us some great information, some great insight, so thank you. But is there anything else you'd like to add before I give your website information?
No, I would just say that to anyone who's new, to just don't get discouraged if people aren't coming up to you and saying hi, and, you know, that might not happen. So it might take a little effort, but like I said, find an icebreaker like food or culture or something that French people are proud of. You know, you can find things to talk about that people will be enthusiastic about, and that will help.
Absolutely. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Allegra. It was so fun to have you with us. We were excited to hear from you and to interact with you. And if you want to read more about Allegra or ask about her services or about her experience, her website is www.pariswriter.com. Is that correct, Allegra?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us, and all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time, Allegra.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
You.
And so until
bye, everybody. Thank you.
Until the next interview and more tips on how to live in France and how to enjoy France. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.